Hello, good morning, and a warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. We're joined this morning by the Deputy Editor of the Island newspaper, Shamindra Ferdinando. Good morning, Shamindra.
Good morning to you.
And also by Bandula Jayasekara, the senior journalist and diplomat even. Good morning.
Good morning, Faras.
How are you today?
Good, good.
And the papers this morning, the Daily Mirror reports on the UPFA ministers who are claiming to be resigning soon. And another report that says that Mervyn Silva vows to campaign for Ranil. We have no confirmation from the UNP on that. The Ceylon Today has a story that says that Sujiva is ready to withdraw his case. That is to do with the Treasury bond matter, and we shall come back to that in a second. And the Island reports on the dispute over MR security and the Human Rights Commission's refusal to intervene. The Island also reports on an opposition stalls Indian Parliament for the second day. And finally, the Daily News reports on a growing story, the white van saga, the white van that was arrested in Mirihana day before yesterday, I believe. Bandula, what do you have to say over this issue about the former president's security and the Human Rights Commission refusing to intervene in the matter?
No, I think it's a tricky situation for us because now the former president is contesting now going to for the parliamentary election, so he wants to come back to the parliament as a normal MP. Yeah. But nevertheless, he has to be provided security as a former president. But there is, like we have read in the paper, there is a big confusion. So I wouldn't know. I mean, like it's true that we have to provide him security, but there is a big but here. Whether it's increase or enhance his security, it's a very difficult take.
But Shamindra, don't you think as the former president, there is a constitutional obligation to take care of him and his security? And do you think it's a case that when the laws were drawn up, nobody envisaged that a former president would actually want to come back through Parliament?
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. But my personal opinion is, whatever happens, under whatever circumstances, the former president's security should not be compromised. He should have the best security this country can provide. And similarly, the former Army Commander, Field Marshal General Fonseca, the former Defence Secretary, and those who contributed to Sri Lanka's victory over the LTT should be given adequate security.
Indeed, I think that's the other side of the coin.
I must add, the previous government, the SLP, the UPFA government failed to provide adequate security to Major General Janaka Perala, who was campaigning in Anuradhapura and who was assassinated by the LTT.
And also, the General Fonseca was sent to prison and he had to be with ordinary prisoners. So that was also wrong.
Yes.
And he, of course, went on to get a pardon, didn't he?
Yeah, but still he served his time in prison.
The other story is about Sujiva Singh is saying that he's ready to withdraw the case that he's initiated. But it's a bit of a strange situation. Because if I can say what the Ceylon Today says, it says here, Sena Singh demanded that Due Gunasekara reveals the contents of a fake COPE report on the contentious Treasury bond scam and promised that he would retract the injunction requested by him, presumably if Mr. Gunasekara reveals the contents of a fake COPE report. To me, it sounds like, on the one hand, they've placed a padlock on Mr. Gunasekara's mouth and then telling him, open your mouth and tell us.
But you could say Faras is definitely hurting the UNP. It is worrying them. So that's a big issue. And but still, the public should know the truth. It's not a fight among them. Let the people decide.
But how can this COPE? There is no COPE report, because Parliament was dissolved before
Yes.
The court could publish its report.
But why did these UNP go to court and, get a gag order, I would say? Why did they do that?
What do you think, Shamindra?
Actually, I raised this issue with Mr. D. Gunasekara. His position was leave aside his report, the COPE report.
Yeah.
He has compiled a dossier of evidence, almost 400 pages of evidence, given by various senior officials of the Central Bank, the National Savings Bank, the People's Bank and other sectors.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Gunasekara requested the President to get a copy of this dossier from the Secretary General of Parliament and release it. He said the President has the power to inquire into this issue, although the Parliament has been dissolved. So Mr. Gunasekara's position is the President should act. Now, only after Mr. Gunasekara's statement, the President, Maithripala Sirisena, declared that he has requested Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to ask Mr. Arjuna Mahendran to go.
Let's move on to another story here, also one that kept making the news yesterday and has gone viral on the internet. The story about candidate Mahinda Rajapaksa and what seemed like a fracas, a small one, in Akurasa. We have here, so it brings us back to this issue of security in a way. We have one side that says that the former president's ring was at risk of being lost and somebody grabbed it and he was therefore protecting his property. And we have the other side saying that the former president was trying to hit this man. But I've noted in all this that there is no complaint either from the man who says he was about to be assaulted, nor from the man who his people say was about to lose his presumably valuable ring.
But for us, I mean, what do these politicians think about us? People are not interested in this. We are interested in issues. The politicians are trying to take political mileage out of this. There are several incidents like this. But, let's talk about the principles and policies. That's really what we need.
That's true. And actually talking of these more serious matters, you say, perhaps we should look at the Daily News story about the white van saga, and they call it a damp squib. It strikes me, Bandha and Shamindra, that this story is actually not just about this one van that has been stopped by the police in Miriana, but more about the rule of law. And on the one hand, we must congratulate the police and also the current ambience that has permeated society since the 9th of January, which is this sort of freedom. And the police have obviously taken that freedom and independence to heart and stopped this white van. What do you think would have happened pre-January the 9th if they'd stopped the white van?
No, it's difficult to say, but then if you allow me to say this, now when I read the Daily News, the headline, so that says it all. It's the government owned. Now I was fortunate or unfortunate to be the editor-in-chief of the Daily News during President Mahinda Rajapaksa's time, but I served during the honeymoon period where there was less interference from the executive and other politicians. But when you look at it, says it says something. The damn squib, how these newspapers are playing this. I'm wondering what's really happening. So it confuses us. But the fact is, like it or not, the white van still exists.
This is an odd situation. According to the Daily News, the army are blaming this incorrect number plate on an administrative failure. But, Shamindra, when did the war finish?
2009, May.
So, since 2009, And St. Thomas has taught us how to add up. So, for the last 5 years, or thereabout, 6 years even, 6 years, this administrative failure has been perpetrated. It's amazing that the army have sought to use a vehicle that they have found in the former conflict areas and they've brought it back here. Don't you think, Bandana, that they should be giving us a list? Well, they should collate a list and say, these are all the vehicles we've found. There are no number plates. We've looked at all the engine and chassis numbers. We've tried to find the legal owners.
And hand it back to the owners.
Well, if they find them, hand it back to the owners. If they haven't, and it is an asset of some value, I suppose, they could then, under a special sort of ordinance, officially take these vehicles on, give them military plates, and then
or perhaps even auction them, because why do you want to give it to the military? Give them what is due to them and auction them. Let the public decide. Give it to the public, like what the customs does.
Because if they made these efforts and made public the fact that they were trying to find the original owners, it would also go in some sort of small way to meet these claims that Sri Lanka is making a real and genuine effort.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think that will also
and give it
help
back
the cause.
To the rightful owners.
Yes. I mean, we'd love to know how many such vehicles there are, because they keep popping up from time to time. And these administrative failures are what sort of gives life to these sort of dubious practices.
And provides news.
I mean, all the papers are carrying this in some shape or form. But also, Shamindra, it's apparently this is an escort vehicle for a serving army officer, Major General Prasanna Silva. Is named here in the Daily News.
Yes.
And doesn't that make it even worse? That we need a good example. And here's this escort vehicle that now turns out to be illegal.
It's a very serious issue. It's a very, very serious issue, because it's election time and number of allegations and accusations made by different political parties. Joseph Michael Pereira has alleged that it was an operation undertaken by the UPFA, and the UPFA has demanded an impartial inquiry into this incident.
Right.
So I think the police and the defense ministry should inquire into this incident and take prompt action on this incident, plus, as you said earlier, to carry out a survey on all the property recovered from those areas during the conflict and return everything to the owners. You go back and just see, this goes back to Geneva. It's an accountability issue. This country is facing a very serious case in Geneva. It's coming up in September, early September. Now, this case will be used by a section of the diaspora and the LTT RUMP to prove that although the government has changed, the system remains.
Right.
And these things are happening.
Just that's a good. I mean, we can gain good mileage by carrying out this almost simplistic exercise to have an account, because the army, there is no system in place for the army to, in essence, use stolen property.
Yeah, that's stolen. Yeah, we shouldn't use that.
Even if it is inherited by virtue of the war. So it sounds that this bad example, then we need to have a full inquiry actually on this matter and find out exactly how many of these vehicles are there.
And they should do that and stop this blame game and finish it once and for all for us.
Right, yes, exactly, instead of pitching the ball to and fro. Do you have any other thoughts on that? What do you think the original owners of this van will say if they found out that this has been used as a white van?
I'm sure they'll be hurt because, the LTT would have taken from them, and then, the army takes it from the LTT.
Yeah.
So let's find the original owners and give it to them, because these people in the north suffered more than anybody else, north and east. I think they need to restart their lives, rebuild their lives. Let's find them, let's make an effort and give it to these people, whatever was taken.
And the part that the police have played in this role of apprehending this vehicle, what do you think? Good job?
I say, okay, we say good cops, bad cops. That's the way I see it. Sometimes we are good cops, bad cops, but I hope the police will do it all the time, every time. That's what I think they should do.
But this has been an issue that has been very critical, and it's been going on and on and on. And don't you think that this is an issue, white vans? It must stop.
And for us, yes, there has to be the political will also to stop this. We should have the political will.
And hopefully the party that is coming into power come the 17th of August mustn't lose focus of these matters.
It depends on which party who would, there are so many contenders. Let's see. Let's see what will happen. Now 8th of January, Mahinda Rajapaksa missed the target, right? The way, like Atish Aminda said it to us in the Sinhala program, that, maybe since UNP is leading, come 17th August, he might miss the target again. And we don't know who will reach the target, don't know whether they are, okay, there's UNP, there's JVP, that might happen.
But surely, back again about the white vans.
Yeah.
Isn't it the responsibility of the party that's seeking to come into power to put an end to this once and for all?
Yes, definitely, fellas, yeah.
We were told that these white vans were part of the military exercise in defeating the LTT, but obviously it has sort of grown sideways.
But for us, I have always, when I was on the other side of the river, I was always wondering why white vans, see, you give the media all that, say white vans. I'm sure they would have used any other van. I think who created this? I'm wondering about that. Why always? So, are they so foolish to use just white vans?
I think, Bandu, it was created by the media. It was created by the media. The media created a situation a couple of years back that the LTT could not be defeated, invincible. That's what the media said. The media experts repeatedly told the previous government, then the UNP government before that the LTT could not be defeated. Now, as an example, an expert like Dr. Rohan Gunaratna, in 2007 February, he declared, he said the army had absolutely had no chance of defeating LTT.
Then Rohan was not an expert. Then you call him an expert. Then he failed to be an expert.
That's the thing. But subsequently, of course, then he changed sides, and then he was praising the armed forces.
Let's move on a little bit and indulge in Sri Lanka's favourite pastime, politics. Shamindra, Mahinda Rajapaksa missed the target on the 8th of January. Will he miss the target again on the 17th of August?
There's a good fight between the UNP-led alliance and the UPFA. But I believe Mr. Wickremesinghe has been able to secure the support of the Muslim Congress and the Tamil political parties, especially Palani Digambaram. I believe that
the plantation sector. Yeah.
That sector. So he has the edge. He has the edge because
who has the edge?
Mr. Wickremesinghe, the UNP, because he had somehow managed to bring back, restore the situation at January 8th.
The world actually is watching with interest the effort of Mr. Rajapaksa to try and come back to power in some shape or form. But he missed the target in January, and there's no earthly reason why he will not miss the target in August, especially if we consider his handling of the minority issues. We had Beruwala and Alutgama and the non-action, the inaction in the north. There are various concerns of the minority communities which haven't been addressed, and so they're not really. Don't you think they are? It'd be hard pushed for them to vote for a person who didn't deliver on those lines.
No, I don't think so. Now, see, in singular majority areas, I have no doubt the former president can come on top. He can secure his party, I mean the UPFA, the
But that's only
UPFA.
a section of
Definitely.
of the country.
But you must not forget the fact that the TNA, which has been accusing the former president and the former army commander of killings, massacres of civilians, the TNA did not hesitate to urge the Tamil electorate to vote for General Fonseca. So political parties take a different stand on different times. Can you explain, even after the US embassy from Colombo declared that the human rights violations committed by former President Rajapaksa, his brother Defense Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, General Fonseca and Basil Rajapaksa, still the TNA felt that it should support General Fonseca. So the TNA is the major Tamil political alliance representing Tamils in that region and even in Colombo. So can you explain, I mean, people have a right to know if they are so concerned about human rights and accountability issues, why on earth?
That's true. What do you think, what's your information, Bundler? What has this government done about that? About the foreign concerns? I mean, they have consistently sort of fought the corner of the West, whereas the previous government have always denied it and so on.
Yeah, I think I can see that how there is more, like I would say, reached out. Especially I would say this government, I would say give the credit to the present president, Maithripala Sirisena. I mean the West, I mean he met people where former President Rajapaksa couldn't meet. He met them. So there's always these different blocks. Right. But we have to work with everybody. We are a small country. We have to work with our neighbors. India is important. China, all the countries are important. We cannot afford to say, no, we don't want to work with anybody. Because we are a poor country. We are a developing nation. We need everybody.
Do you think that clearly we were speaking to some people who say that one of the things that, one of the most potent things, this is according to a advisor to Prime Minister Modi, who says that one of the most critical things that this country is missing at the moment is a dearth of Tamil politicians, because obviously most of the Tamil politicians were killed by the LTTE.
Yeah, that is very sad, because I think LTT had a plan. That's why they got rid of these educated, well-meaning Sri Lankan Tamil politicians. They planned, and we have lost most of them. We need to, nurture, bring them up and reach out and give them an opportunity. Because as Sri Lankans, and then I'm very supportive of this, the trilingual policy. We could build bridges with this.
Bundle, I was in Jaffna not too long ago. Several weeks ago, and it saddened me and troubled me that the people in Jaffna, the number of people with pipe-borne water is just about 2%, and we are inviting the diaspora to come back here. They're hardly likely to come back and want to draw water out of the wells, which is some of which is contaminated. Doesn't that trouble you?
No, it does sad, because...
Did you draw water out of the well this morning?
No, not today.
No. You opened the tap?
I opened the tap.
So why not in Jaffna? Why can't
So that is where we have neglected, because, we have suffered so much, in like this country. So we have to reach out and help our people, to do business and to, help the economy, the youth, everything, which we are not doing. Our politicians addressing, no, they are not. So this is where we got to change this for us. And I would know.
Don't you think, Shaminda, that it's not only we can't keep asking the government to do everything, but sometimes we must ask the people also to do things, like the diaspora can jolly well come back and invest some money in the land of their birth.
Yes, I think so. I think the previous government made an attempt to have some discussions with them, but the previous government failed. But I think the Foreign Minister Mangala Samaraweera is making a serious effort to invite the diaspora back to the country. But he's facing a lot of criticism. I mean, he's accused of trying to, promote the LTT rump and all. But I think we now the war is over. We have to talk with them. We have to invite them back to Sri Lanka. But we must not. We must realize. We must understand. We must admit that the government of India created this situation. That's a fact. Those who demand accountability on the part of the Sri Lankan government fail. They conveniently ignore the fact that India created this problem.
Well, that's true. Some foreign governments are obviously attempting to install a puppet government in Sri Lanka, and it's important that the people of this country realize, appreciate and be aware that this is not some talk, but it's actual fact. Their agents are in this country, and they are doing whatever they can to make sure that this puppet government that is more aligned to their line of thinking, is in place on this resplendent isle of ours. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, I would say like people voted for the common candidate, President Maithripala Sirisena. I think he should take firm control as the president because people elected him and run this country.
Indeed.
We should give him a free hand
don't
and
you
support
think that because obviously this reconciliation is the catalyst for economic growth and so on, and for everything really. And if President Maithripala Sirisena takes this on and can actually make a real move to achieve lasting reconciliation, don't you think that the organization called the Nobel Peace Prize might suddenly find a nomination in the form of President Sirisena?
They gave the peace prize to Obama also without Obama achieving peace. I have my my reservations about this. The peace, the man who created, the dynamite, and then he creates peace.
Right.
I have my own thoughts about this.
All right. Time to say thank you very much for joining us, Shamindra.
Thank you.
We look forward to having you again.
Thank you.
Perhaps. And Bandula, thank you very much too.
Thanks
for being present
Pleasure.
and gracing us with your occasion on this occasion. Thought for the day today: those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. With thanks to Mr. Thomas Payne, I wish you a good morning and God bless. Thank you.